So for a dog who doesn't really like to keep moving on your walk, when that is your intention for the walk, there's a few things you can do to help, good boy, to help them keep things moving. So for my friend T-Bone here, let's go. He really likes to mark a lot, and that means he likes to stop a lot, sniff, pee, etc. And while there's a time and a place for that, there's also a time and a place for just moving along and covering some distance. And so one of the ways that we can set him up for success in doing that is to stay away from edges. The edges are really smelly and really interesting to a dog because very often that's where they walk and where they pee. T-Bone, let's go. Good boy. Good boy. Good job, buddy. And so if you keep them away from the edges, it's a little less challenging to keep on moving. Notice how that's where he's trying to pull, right? Now, the other thing is where the head goes, the body goes. And so I'm a big fan of flat collars on the neck, flat traditional buckle collars, no prong, no pinch, no none of that, just a typical collar. And the reason is when you have the leash and the dog is pulling, you can gently, ever so slightly, pull to the side. And see, now T-Bone has, good boy, T-Bone has a harness on. And so while it worked with him, he's not as sensitive to the harness as he might be, good boy, let's go, on a flat collar, because the harness gives his whole body power, right? He can pull over, he can use his strength, he can use that weight to pull to where he wants to pull. Versus if the collar is on his neck, it's going to be uncomfortable to be pulling, and the head goes, where the head goes, the body goes. So preference for a flat collar in that for that reason, I should say. Good boy, T-Bone. Touch. Good boy. Good boy. And so we can also use, let's go, we can use that touch cue to help keep him moving along. So if and when he gets a little frozen like that and he's like, no, I want to go where I want to go, and I don't like that you're not letting me do the thing, either by body blocking, as you can see me demonstrate here, or by tensing up the leash and limiting his opportunities to get to what he wants to get to. And it can be a dance sometimes. Let's go. Come on, T. Good boy. Good boy. Now, keep in mind, you do want to offer opportunities for sniffing and pulling over, right? That's part of the walk. T-Bone, let's go. Good. But the important thing, in my opinion, is do it when you give permission. Okay, go sniff. Good boy, as such. So when you give him permission and then he pulls over, he learns that it's a reward for doing good things. Versus if you let him pull over all the time whenever he wants, you're never going to get anywhere. He's the one leading that walk in that scenario. He's guiding where he's going, and you're just kind of following along at the other end of the leash. And again, there's a time and a place for all these different types of walks, but you need to be clear and intentional about what kind of walk you're doing in the moment and what's the purpose. Is this a sniffari where they're allowed to pull over and sniff as much as they like? Is it a training walk where you have clear expectations and intentions, such as moving along? Or are you working on something really specific? Is there a training goal you're working on? Maybe you're doing a combination of those things. Know what your goal is, be intentional when you set out, and be sure that you're communicating clearly to your dog your expectations. Because not only do we not speak the same language, but our dogs are not mind readers. And so we need to be clear in our expectations, and we need to reward accordingly when they offer us behaviors that we like and want to see repeated. And so you can see T-Bone is enjoying his sniffy break at this moment. He has permission to walk around and do his thing within reason, as long as he's not pulling me over or dragging me or whatever, totally fine. He can do his business if he so chooses, or mark, or any of those things. And then we'll set back out into a little bit of a more structured walk. Personally, I like to break up the walk in this way, varying between structure and freedom, because you can use those sniffy breaks as a reward system. It breaks things up, and it helps the dog be better able to focus in the moments that you require focused work from them. So we're going to give T-Bone a minute to finish doing his thing, and then we'll keep on moving.